estate. They kind of go hand in hand sometimes.
Well, that's where the big planning opportunities happen. We're probably going to hear about that big time today.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Rob Adatto from Always 1% Realty, and we'd like to welcome him aboard. Rob?
Thank you for having us, Bob.
Glad you could be with us today. Always 1% Realty is a company that's kind of new, right?
Brand new. We just opened a month ago.
And you are from the real estate background?
Yes, I've been in commercial real estate management and transactional brokering for about 25 years.
Now, were you working for other companies, or did you have your own entities before?
I've always been on my own as a
independent
operator, and generally for fee clients.
Now, you have launched out into a world of real estate brokerage, Always 1% Realty. Sounds like you're doing transactional work for less than the normal percentages.
That's exactly correct.
Why don't you tell us what your concept is?
Well, the concept was born of the frustrations involved in seeing how much money is wasted on commercial and residential real estate transactions. An example would be that about 70 to 75% of the people that are going to buy a house actually look for that house online before they ever contact a broker. They've already done a substantial part of the traditional real estate sales agent's job before they even give the guy a call. Another element of this picture,
which is different than it used to be.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. With the advent of the internet,
right,
the information available to consumers now is dramatically more than it ever has been. Another important element in this is that the amount of work involved in brokerage, because of the internet and because of extraordinary database management tools like the multiple listing service and the internet itself, the amount of work that the people have to do in order to buy and sell real estate to facilitate that sale is really dramatically less than it's ever been. And then the final element in all of this is that the prices of real estate over the last generation or so have gone up exponentially. Houses that used to be $60,000 or $70,000 are now $750,000. During that whole time, with less work to do, more money to be made, the brokers that are handling these transactions haven't really adjusted their fees. They're still charging the same 6% fees that they were 30 or 40 years ago.
Which is very different from other industries, because like in the financial services industry, there's been a lot of pressure on managed money fees going down. The larger accounts get, the easier things get, but that hasn't happened in the real estate industry.
Well, not enough. I believe that there has been some downward pressure, but certainly not enough. Our goal here is to simply level the playing field and remove all of the conflicts of interest so that the consumer is actually in control of the transaction. Also, we want to recognize how much time and effort really goes into the transaction on the broker's part and make sure that they're paid for it reasonably, but not overpaid to the point where it spoils the transaction for the actual principals.
Yeah, homes in San Diego are not uncommon to go for $800,000, $1 million. 6% of $1 million is $60,000.
Correct, and in many instances, there's a total of maybe 6 to 8 hours of actual work that goes into earning that $60,000. It's outrageous.
That's about $1,000 an hour. I like that job.
I used to have a job like that.
Yeah.
I think it's $10,000.
Wait, that's right. 6 hours? I was thinking 60. Man, I'm not doing real well with numbers today. Maybe I ought to quit with the numbers part.
I wasn't going to work on it.
That's $10,000. That's good work.
It's extraordinary, and I think that there's opportunities for consumers to put that money right back where it belongs, which is in their own pocket. If a buyer comes along and uses a system such as ours, which encourages a strong rebate of the excess brokerage commissions that are paid, a buyer of an $800,000 house is going to get a check back from us in a typical transaction for $16,000 at the end of that deal.
Now, why a rebate as opposed to a lower commission schedule? Why not just lower the commission down?
Well, the issue is that the industry is set up to acknowledge the current status quo. A typical listing contract on a house will offer a buyer's broker somewhere between 2.5% and 3% of the sales price as his commission. There's no reason not to charge that money from the buyer's perspective, the issue is how can the buyer get that money back? The buyer's paying that money. So if the buyer can get that money back in the form of a rebate, then the seller, who's already planned to pay it anyway, knows nothing of the difference, and the buyer actually gets the money to use as they see fit. They can lower their down payment. They could buy furniture for their house. They could do whatever that they need to do in order to kind of deploy those funds in their own best interest.
Now, in Always 1% Realty, are you set up to focus on one side more than the other? Are you set up to focus on the buyer more than the seller, or the seller more than the buyer? Or are you looking at handling both sides?
Well, we handle both sides. The two sides really go hand in hand. You can't have a buyer unless you have a seller. So
for the most part.
Well, yeah, generally speaking.
Transaction would include both of them.
Yes, there's are rare instances where people are doing interfamily transfers, but for the most part, you need buyers and sellers. So the issue here is we do handle both sides. I think if there's a focus, I think we bring a little more to the table for the buyers than for the sellers, although it is very rare in our industry to see a full-service listing service for only 1%, and we do accomplish that as well.
So let's say a buyer is looking at a piece of property. You're saying that most of the people that are looking now go onto the internet, do a lot of work before they get to the real estate agent.
I believe they've created pretty much a short list of properties, or at least they've specified their criteria that they're looking for and narrowed down the list somewhat.
So we have a much better educated consumer today than, say, a generation ago.
We do. Additionally, there are many, many websites through which the consumer can see all of the available listings at no cost.
Now, these websites help somebody get their short list together. So let's say somebody's narrowed it down to 6 homes that they want to look at. How would they work with Always 1% Realty? What would be the process?
Well, there are several aspects to that. They could log on to our website in order to view for free all of the properties that are available and create that short list. They could give us a call, and we could work with them in order to examine their short list and make sure that they are appropriate choices, and then arrange to show them those properties. Or they can go and look at the properties themselves if they want to, because they are available through these websites like our own. They could see the properties and then just bring us in when they're ready to transact the business.
The listings that they're looking at, is this part of the multiple listing service, the MLS?
Yeah, all of the listings that are available on the MLS are available through our website and also through many other fine realtors' websites.
What a change has come about in our world, hasn't it?
It is extraordinary. What was considered to be proprietary information and cautiously guarded by the industry just 5 years ago is now commonly available for free to everybody that has internet access.
Amazing changes in our world. If you want to check it out, always1percentrealty.com is the website. Now make sure you spell out the word 1 and spell out the word percent. Don't put in the numeral 1 and the percent sign. Always1percentrealty, spelled out.com. You're listening to Inside Business. I'm Bob Ryan, along with Al Arias. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us.